One of the biggest tips that I can give you to get better movement in Warzone is to learn how to effectively use it to your advantage. And what I mean by that is a lot of you know the Warzone movements. You know how to slide cancel. You know how to strafe. You know how to jump. But at the end of the day, you're not totally sure exactly when to use which movement. So today, we're going to be breaking down 6 clips that I have. Some Fortune's Keep, some Rebirth, some super advanced, some super simple. Really taking a look at why I use the movements that I do and how they allow me to take less damage. At the end of the day, that's the whole goal with using movement, is forcing your enemies to miss shots and allow you to take less damage. So let's go ahead and jump into clip number 1 here. Real quick, by the way, let's talk about the format for today's video. Now, as I mentioned, I've got 6 clips for you. We're going to start with the 3 simple ones, and then we'll jump into the advanced ones, which are 1v3 and 1v4 situations. I did give you timestamps down below just in case at any point in time you do want to fast forward. And for each clip, I'm going to start off by breaking it down using slow-mo, rewinding, talk about the movements that I'm using and why they're so important, and then I'll play it full speed for you. This way you can really see how it all plays out in actual game speed. Now, in this situation, I want to pay attention to 2 movements, strafing and snaking a heady. So as I jump down here, I'm going to catch the Snoop Dogg skin. And this is something that advanced players, you should really focus on. A lot of the pro players stick to strafing and strafe more than anything else because it increases controller aim assist and it makes you a harder target to hit, makes you a harder target to track, and allows you to take less damage. So as we slow this down, look how far left and right I get. Left, right, left, and you can see him missing bullets. He drops shots. I'm still able to mix in headshots. We jump a little bit, but that's not something I really want to focus on for this one, but we get the thirst. Now, I'm low plates. I get the dot up here, right? He's above me over this direction, but I'm not totally sure where he is, and I want you to work on this. This is a little move that you can do to gain information when stuck behind a piece of cover or using a piece of cover to your advantage, whether it's a crate on Fortune's Keep or Rebirth, whether it's a wall. Watch how I slowly kind of crouch, stand, which gives me that information that he's still kind of sitting on the steps, which then allows me to get the kill. Stand, catch him, stand, catch him. Now I switch to my Cooper carbine. Now I'm ready to go ahead and hit all those shots. So as we go ahead and watch this back full speed, you really see how I use those 2. The first one is obviously going to be strafing, where I use that to my advantage to take a little bit less damage. And then, of course, also snaking the heady, using that to gain information. Jump into the second clip here. If you are looking to get better at Rebirth or Fortune's Keep, just consider hitting that subscribe button down below. My whole goal is just to help you improve, and I do tip videos every single day. Now, this second clip right here, what we're going to be paying attention to is slide canceling around corners, and we're actually going to talk about an advanced movement, which is bunny hopping. Bunny hopping is actually a very simple movement that requires timing. I'll explain in a second. Now, as we're pushing up here, I can kind of hear people to my right. Work on slide canceling around corners. This is something that will allow you to get your crosshairs out. Notice that if somebody's here, I'm actually ready for them because I have my crosshairs out. All I'm doing is timing my slide cancel around a corner. Now, I don't slide cancel around this one. I just kind of quick tag sprint and then re-peek. But what I want you to pay attention to is watch how I strafe backwards into cover. So I'm going to slow this down for you. We're going to hit shots, but notice that right here, I'm strafing backwards and kind of not only 2 things. I'm keeping my distance from this enemy who is pushing me by kind of keeping that FOV open a little bit, especially for my console players, but I'm also pulling back into cover to protect myself from that second enemy. Now, as I challenge around the corner here, notice the slide cancel right there. We pull back. Let's go ahead and notice the slide cancel again. We challenge this guy. We pull back into cover. Now, there's the slide, right? I'm in a tack sprint, or there's the tack sprint. There's the slide cancel so that the crosshairs are out. If this guy's standing right in this doorway, I am ready to actually shoot this guy because my crosshairs are out, and we'll see that again in a second here. But we're going to go ahead and speed it up. Now, when I talk about bunny hopping being a simple movement that requires timing, all you're doing is going tack sprint, then you're going to jump, and then you're going to jump again when you're close to the ground. The timing's the most important part. And why do we do bunny hopping? Why do we bunny hop around corners? It actually is a glitch in the game where you never actually touch the ground. You kind of glide across the screen. So you're going to see him miss shots to my right. This is the start of we start by jump peeking, which I always talk about, making it harder for our enemy to actually track us. And then the bunny hop just allows us to skip even further. Tack sprint. There's the jump, there's the bunny hop, and you can kind of see how I just glide across that screen, which allows me to get that down. Then I go ahead and thirst the first guy, then we go ahead and thirst the second guy. Let's go ahead and watch back full speed.
Fuckers have me sighted.
Let's keep talking about the slide cancel and the centering. This is a super quick example, then we'll jump into the kind of more advanced stuff here. But I'm going to go ahead and push in. We're going to get this down. We're going to get the thirst now with the throwing knife because I never hit throwing knives. And notice the dot above me. Now, when I get this piece of information, notice which way he is moving, right? He's kind of moving towards my right a little bit. Right kind of by this stairwell is where I'm going to assume he is. So watch how I slide cancel around the corner, center my crosshairs at the top, which allows me to get this kill. Watch, there's the tack sprint. Look at the centering right here, right? I'm already pre-centering this corner. My character's already registered as standing up. The slide cancel has already happened. And then as I kind of keep pushing past this corner, I'm very close. I make a little micro adjustment and we're able to get that down. And then we go ahead and push up and we get that thirst. So that's kind of where you see. And as we pull this back, we'll watch it full speed right here. You see how quick this happens, right? We get the down, we get the thirst. I immediately go challenge. There's the slide cancel. We challenge with the centering, and that centering allows us to only have to make a little micro adjustment. We hit shots. We're able to get that down and thirst. Let's jump into some advanced clips now. So I'm going to be totally honest with you here. I got caught looking and talking to chat during one of my streams, and I completely missed this guy directly in front of me. This is why this situation starts the way that it does. I just wasn't paying attention. So we're going to go ahead and stim. Now, not really a movement tip, but you definitely want to be plating while moving. Unfortunately, I get shot, which interrupts that. So we're going to go ahead and stim again. This is where we start to talk about movement tips right here. Now, instead of just sitting behind this crate, which is what a lot of you would do, you would just sit here, you would wait. I'm going to go ahead and kind of not necessarily, I'm going to keep moving, but for the purpose of gaining information about how many or where they are pushing from. So notice that I don't put myself too far out there. I'm probably a little bit further out than I should be, but I can clearly see, okay, there's nobody that I can see directly in front of me right now. I'm also using audio cues to my advantage to figure out if I can hear footsteps of people, but we know audio is not great. So I jump over. I actually don't know if I caught this guy in the moment, but you can see how that jump peak can allow you to gain info, like jumping over cover can allow you to gain info about where somebody is, and they're not going to be able to actually shoot you because you're going to be down below cover by the time, you know, they actually realize. Now, right here, I see him shooting. And I hear one pushing to my left. I hear this guy. Now, I want to slow-mo this because I want you to understand why jumping while shooting is so important. A lot of times you are mixing in chest shots or even lower damage areas, and you're going to clearly see what jumping while shooting does right here. There's the headshot. I even missed it. Let's pull this back. I want to pull this back. I want to slow this thing down to show you the crosshair on the guy. So slow this down right here. There it is. That is why I jump while shooting. I think it is a massive advantage in something that's very simple. You don't have to constantly spam, you know, jump up and down. You only need it once, maybe twice, depending on a certain situation. Now, let's keep going right here because I'm low health. I'm not in a good situation. I have two people kind of still in the living quarters area or the tent area, and I'm in gas, so I got to get out of gas. First things first, let's find cover. So I'm actually going to slide up this way. And I long slide that. This way I can kind of stay behind cover. And I know that I'm going to kind of have to challenge this. I'm not going to be able to make it up. I don't have stims for a speed boost. So we're going to play this little crate right here. And the moment I use this crate for cover, I hear him pushing. So what do? We jump peek the corner. Why do we jump peek the corner? Because if you slide around the corner, then that person might already be aimed down sight and all they have to do is shoot. But if you jump peek the corner, you force them to actually track you. So I'm going to jump peek this corner. I'm going to jump out as far as possible. You can see where he's aiming. If I slide around that corner, he's already aimed at me. But because I jump peek this corner, he's aimed to my right now. Not only does he have to make an adjustment, but, you know, at the end of the day, this gives me the window of opportunity that I need. I barely take any damage. And you can also see that he kind of overcompensated and then missed shots to my left as well. So we only take half a plate of damage. Last guy's over to the right. Now, this is a situation where, you know, I kind of know he's holding this angle, but I do slide cancel this because he doesn't know if I'm pushing or not. And I need to be super quick here. This is kind of a different angle, but notice the centering again, right? I know exactly where this guy is based on the minimap. You can see him right directly in front of me on my level. So I slide cancel around the corner, crosshairs are out, and then we're just going to use basic strafing from there. Notice how in every single clip, pretty much, we talk about strafing. It's the most basic movement that will allow you to become a better player, will allow you to get better aim and get better movement. So we challenge, we're able to strafe right and left just a little bit, just enough. And keep in mind that little bit of strafe right there may not have helped me all that much when it comes to actually taking less damage, but it still helps with aim assist. We get the thirst. Let's go and watch back full speed. So we're back on Fortune's Keep. I've got a Snoop skin right in front of me, and I'm actually caught in a tack sprint. Now, I want to start off by talking about the positives and negatives of drop shotting real quick. Drop shotting is not something that I do very often, but it can be very valuable. The positives are that if your enemy doesn't account for you drop shotting and make that adjustment, they're going to be missing shots straight over your head, and it's a pretty tough adjustment to pull that right stick all the way down to make that adjustment. The negative is, if they do make the adjustment, now they're only hitting headshots and have an even faster time to kill, as well as the fact that I'm kind of shooting leg shots here. You know, it's very difficult to drop shot and still hit high damage areas, so you are giving yourself a little bit of a longer TTK. Either way, I'm able to get the down, I'm able to get the thirst. Notice that one is above me, or both are above me kind of to my right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull back here. Once again, notice the strafing right here. This is a common theme today, that you need to be strafing while shooting to be able to take less damage and hit more shots. That is what it comes down to. We get the down, we get the thirst, last one's above. Now for my advanced players, for every player, one of the most important things is going to be slide canceling. But for my advanced players, 100% as you're improving and farming teams, you've got to be playing fast to be able to get away from enemies. You know, you should be able to get away from anybody that you're farming. Now, we talked about gaining info in the last clip, right? And right here, you kind of see me overcommit. In the last clip, I did a really good job of not putting myself too far out into the open to gain that info. I put myself way out in the open here, and I get caught in a really bad spot. I go ahead and stim, and then we start to figure out what the next play is, right? So I'm going to go ahead and start plating. I'm going to shoulder this corner, try to see if I can find this guy pushing. I'm using my audio as much as I can to hear if he's pushing, and I don't catch anything. So we're going to go ahead and push in the shack and try to get actual eyes on him. Right now, I actually see him up there, and now I'm in a better position. We're going to go ahead and re-challenge this way, right? We're not going to peek that same angle. I'm going to pull out the Craig. We're going to use, once again, a little bit of strafing. We get the down. We're going to go ahead, and as we're pushing up to get the thirst, this guy right here actually catches me off guard, and we throw in a little bit of a jump there to get that down and thirst. So let's go ahead and watch back full speed. Very quick clip, but a lot of different movements that we're using. So back on Rebirth for the last clip, and we are starting this off, and we catch an enemy right in this little window right here. So we're going to go ahead and challenge once again, slide canceling around corners, and understand all you're doing is timing your slide cancel so that you can have your crosshairs out. In this situation, right, let's take away this enemy. What is my next move from here if there's not an enemy? Then I just go ahead and tack sprint again, and I have my tack sprint reset. So it kind of does both things for you. It allows you to have your crosshairs out, also allows you to reset your tack sprint. We're going to go ahead, challenge this guy, and we talk about using aim and movement. And why do I take so much damage here? Well, I just missed some shots, which then puts me in a bad spot. But we are able to get the down, we get the thirst, and then I catch this guy pushing right here. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately re-challenge. There's two things that I want to pay attention to here. The first is how I go about challenging and breaking that camera, which is going to be a slide cancel again, but then I actually jump backwards. It's called the fadeaway or whatever you want to call it. But all I'm doing here is, and I'm going to go ahead and play this slow motion as we see it. So we catch this guy right here. All I'm doing is basically pulling down on my left stick, not my right stick, my left stick. So we slide. Notice how I'm pulling backwards on that, and I'm jumping, right? So all I'm doing is pulling down on the left stick, jumping, and then of course shooting as well. Now we're going to go ahead and try to find this last guy. I don't quite see him. I'm out of ammo, which isn't very good, and I get caught in between gun swaps. So now I kind of have to make a play. Immediately slide cancel right, which you can barely even see that I slide cancel because it's that quick. But that slide cancel gives me just enough time to tack sprint forward, create that, you know, barrier between us, at which point I slide cancel to get those crosshairs out. So you're going to see it right here. We're going to swap. Watch how tack sprint, crosshairs out, and I turn, and then I'm going to pre-fire. We get the down and the team wipe right there. So let's go to watch back full speed. I hope you found today's video helpful. Subscribe down below for more videos. Like I said, I do tip videos every single day, just helping people improve at both maps. My whole goal is just to help you get more kills, die a little less, get more wins, and have some more fun. So like I said, I hope you found today's video helpful. Let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.